Hello, y'all. This is Haley, and welcome to today's episode of Real, the unedited life of a Christian woman, where it's okay to not be okay and where you can find authentic connection with other Christian women. To keep up to date with what's coming, be sure to follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. All right, so today's show, I wanted to do a little bit differently. I wanted to maybe talk about some various issues. I know I was supposed to talk about beauty, but there really wasn't anything coming to mind that I just was dying to talk about. So I thought we could just talk about some different things and skip around a little bit. What's been on my mind recently is Christian women not being able to express their opinions without a lot of backlash on social media. Why can't we, as Christian women, talk about the way we feel? If everybody else can talk about the way they feel, why can't we? Recently, there was a situation on social media where a Christian woman came out and um, just basically placed her views on the election. And I know, they say don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion. It always ends up in conflict. But why? I mean, today, there are so many opinions on social media. Why is it that, and I may get some backlash for this, but it feels like people on the far left are sometimes allowed to express their opinions and get love for it, but then people on the far right that express their opinions get hate thrown at them. And I know there's a lot of differences. I know that it's a plethora of opinions, some in support, some in denial, or whatever. But it just seems like that it's not okay for conservative Christian women to express their opinions. And I'm not okay with that. I will tell you that when I get on social media and I want to post something that I feel strongly about, I hesitate because I fear the backlash. But I don't think it should be that way. Why am I like that? I feel like it's ingrained in me. And honestly, I want to break free from it because, in my opinion, it is not right. We should all have freedom of speech. And in doing so, yes, I feel like it all should glorify God, but I just feel like it isn't fair a lot of times to Christian women. I don't know. How do you all feel? So the next thing I want to pivot to, Taylor Swift. I may not agree with everything Taylor Swift is about, sings about, has opinions about, but let me tell you, I love some Taylor Swift music. I do. I'm 42 years old. Now, granted, when she first came out on the like country music, I was probably, I don't know, maybe high school, maybe early college. I feel like it was high school though. And so I've been a fan from the beginning, okay? Um and at 42 years old, it may seem like, are you like, even sometimes I question myself, like, seriously? Like, Taylor Swift? But I do. I just, not everything, but a lot of her songs, I relate to things. Do you all do that? Like, even if the song isn't about that particular thing, like, I can make it about that thing in my life. I can kind of twist it around in my brain to where it applies to whatever situation I'm going through in life. Am I alone in that? It doesn't always work, but it frequently does. I Peloton some. That's my form of exercise, and we'll talk about the self-care I've been doing here in just a few minutes. Um, but I have done the Robin Arzon Taylor Swift ride more than any other cycling ride there is. She has 2. She has one older one that was, like, red, and then she has a newer one that is from the Tortured Poets Department album, and I have done them both several times. The most recent one, like, I don't know, 10 to 20 times probably. so much. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it. 42 years old and I love Taylor Swift. And I feel like there are Christian women out there that would be like, how dare you like Taylor Swift and what she stands for? Well, just because I like her music doesn't mean I stand for everything that she's about. Okay. All right. Moving on. Also on my mind this morning, yes, I am recording in the morning, is self care. So recently in my life, I have taken steps to focus more on my self-care. I've known since nursing school that self-care is so important in our lives. Like if it seems selfish at times, especially as Christian women, but if you don't care for yourself, you can't take care of everybody else. What is this saying? You can't pour from an empty cup, right? So you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others, all right? So and I will say, like, I probably have a little bit better base knowledge than some people about the importance of self care just because I'm a family nurse practitioner, right? So I might know things about self care that others don't. So I kind of have a little bit of edge in that, but I see the same things you all do on social media. Things that I have done recently for self care. All right, so let's start. Um, First of all, I have a daily routine. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that I don't stick to this every day. Self discipline is one of the hardest things you will ever master. If you can master self discipline, you can master your life for the most part. Self discipline is one of the hardest things to do for whatever reason. So, my daily routine ideally starts out at 5 a.m., where I get up. I have my Bible study, my prayer. I read like a self-help book that's helpful to me. I go over my planner and my daily routine. Um, I try to work on something about my podcast daily. And, I don't always get all of these things in, but that's the goal because by 7 a.m., I'm typically on my work nurse practitioner platform where I do GLP-1 medications, all day long, semaglutide, blah, blah, blah. So, but when I get up in the morning, the first thing I want to do is get a cup of coffee. Okay. Now, my coffee, I'm trying to work on. I have not always been a coffee drinker, started drinking it back at Vanderbilt when I needed more caffeine than what was in a Coke. And I started drinking Folgers breakfast blend coffee and I love it. And I put the creamer, what is it called? It's just like the Coffee Mate original creamer is what it is. I put that 2 tablespoons of that. I know it's a lot in coffee, and I put 2 Splenda, and I drink that. Now, listen, I feel guilty when I drink that. Sometimes it's so good to me, but Splenda, not necessarily always good for you. Look it up. It has some relationship to dementia, I think, long term, and so Splenda is something I probably need to replace. Um, And then the creamer is I mean, there's like no nutritional value in my opinion in that creamer. So anyway, I do that first cup of coffee, okay? Not been able to give that up yet. It's like my happy thing. So I do it. Makes me happy. One thing I've recently done is I ordered some mushroom coffee. Has anybody heard of mushroom coffee? This was new to me, but it seems like it's kind of a trend right now. So I thought, okay, I'm going to look this up, see what's in it. Y'all, it has so many health benefits, it seems like. It's got several different ingredients in it. Obviously, mushrooms being one of the primary ingredients. But it's supposed to improve focus. It's supposed to curb cravings. It's supposed to do all these things. What I have seen people complain about is if you drink too much of it, it can increase your potassium, which can be a big deal. So I've kind of like done like a half dose instead of like the full on. The taste is not bad like I thought it would be. I've mixed different things with it. What I get is Ryze coffee. I've only had a couple cups so far, but I'm enjoying it. I'll post a picture of it on my social media, so take a look at that. Um, but I have put maple syrup in it to sweeten it, like organic maple syrup. It's another thing I'm trying to do, switch to as I run out of things in my kitchen, switching to all organic. Um, we'll talk more about that. But I put organic maple syrup. I put cinnamon in it, organic cinnamon. I put this Ryze coffee also has a creamer. I use that as well. And the nut milks, I'm not super, like, I can't stand the taste of the nut milks, like the almond milk. I think there's another one. I'm drawing a blank, but what I have found that is tolerable, that's decent to me, is oat milk that I can like. Oh, coconut milk's another one. I don't like coconut milk a whole lot, but the oat milk I can handle. So I have like a little frother thing, and I froth the oat milk, and then I put all these things in there together and stir it up. And I mean, it's with hot water, okay? And it really doesn't have a lot of taste. And if you think about it, at least I think mushrooms don't have a lot of taste. So I don't know. I've started drinking it a couple cups a day. I feel like I can tell a difference as far as like my focus, my energy level. It's supposed to have about half as much caffeine in it as a cup of coffee. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping eventually I can replace that morning cup, but I don't know if I can ever like it enough to do that. I just love that first cup of coffee. So anyway, so that's one thing I've done for self-care. Another thing I've done for self-care is I bought a water bottle that's a 60-ounce water bottle that has the time on it. I know you all have seen those like on Amazon and stores, wherever. But it's got like 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m. I'm going to show mine on the camera here. You can see that. I'll post this on Facebook. But I got like the olive green color and it's a glass bottle. That's another thing that I've read a lot about is plastics, like microplastics in everything. And I think about it, I'm like, that kind of is a thing. I've never really thought about it. So I got a glass water bottle. It does have some plastic, like it's got a plastic straw. I mean, we can't like completely gut our lives of everything. It's just everywhere in our environments. But I did get the glass water bottle with the times on it, and I'm putting 60 ounces of water in it a day. So a good rule of thumb is to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water a day. Okay. 60 is a little low for me, but I also drink a bottle of Fiji water in addition to this. So I think that kind of puts me over the edge, I guess. Um, but this just helps me gauge throughout the day how much water I'm drinking. And it really does cut down on like at a meal when I used to want, like I would go get me something for lunch in the kitchen and grab a Sprite or grab a, whatever, something. I'm like, I don't want water. But when I see this water bottle sitting there and I see where I'm supposed to be in the day, it gives me the motivation and it's already prepared, just gives me the motivation to keep on drinking it. Okay. So, drinking that much water a day, I've noticed a huge difference just like in my mood. I mean, let's be honest, mainly I wanted to do this because of my skin. At 42, a lot of things are happening there that I'm not excited about. But just and in addition to the mushroom coffee, I'm putting Vital Proteins collagen powder. So the collagen plus the water, it really hydrates your skin. And I'm hopeful that we'll see some changes there. But anyway, I've found good results with that. So self-care, I've done mushroom coffee, make sure I'm drinking my water. I'm really, really, really trying to exercise. Now, my favorite thing to do is Peloton. I bought my Peloton back in 2017 or 2018, right after I graduated from Vanderbilt. And I'm going to be honest, I financed it it was a year or 2 years. It was like, at the time, it was like $2,300, I think. But now they're a lot cheaper than that because Peloton kind of after COVID went not so good. And so now they sell them for cheaper. But I love Peloton because I have my bike sitting right beside my bed. And when I want to exercise, I don't have to get out and go to the gym. I don't have to waste time, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. I don't have to prep a bag. I don't have to that I just don't like doing that. It dissuades me from going to the gym. So on the Peloton, I can do all kinds of things, all kinds of classes. The membership is a little steep. It's like now it's like $44 a month, and that is kind of high. But for me, it's worth it. So my self-care is to attempt to exercise at the moment 2 to 3 times a week. I go back and forth. Sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's less than that. But I try to consistently exercise. I feel better when I exercise. At 42, like I said, the joint pain starts to kick in. You start to feel clicks in joints that you didn't used to feel that in. It's just exercise helps build your muscles, which helps support your joints. Okay. And so when you exercise, when you strength train, those those joints are so much more well supported by the muscle strength that you're building. And you'll notice that. You'll feel like, oh, I don't hurt when I raise my arm above my head. Oh, I can go up those stairs a lot better now. It feels better. I'm not as sore after doing things that I haven't done in a while. I can get up off the floor easier now. So exercise is another thing that I have done um, to help with self-care. So, Bible study, prayer, read a self help book, review my planner daily, exercise 2 to 3 times a week, try to get in my daily routine. I've not done that good with that, you guys. I'm really trying. And like I said, if you can master self discipline, you can master so many things. Those are a few things. If that exhausted you, it did me too. Sometimes one of my downfalls is working too much, and I'm working on balancing that as well. Another thing that I have done, almost forgot about, is I've started doing like virtual online counseling. It's included in our health insurance. You can do it virtually. So I had my first session last week. I literally went and sat out in my car because that's the only place I feel like I can get away from my family without somebody wanting something. So I went and sat out in my car and I talked to my counselor for an hour, and it was great. Just talking through things helps so much. No shame in that, you all. And then after that same week, I had an appointment with a psychiatric NP, nurse practitioner, who helps me. Yes, that's another thing that we can touch on at some point is antidepressants. Antidepressants and Christian women. Y'all, I have so many opinions here, but just to tell you, I take an antidepressant. I recently switched antidepressants. I have been on one for probably 20 years. I feel like it is genetic like anything else. And you know what? I have no shame in taking it. I have no shame in doing counseling, and neither should you. Um, but that's another self-care thing I've done recently. And I will tell you, over the last 2 weeks since I have done this, like I have counseling later today, I feel better. I feel better. And my mental health is so important to my happiness, to my success, to me being there for everybody else, right? You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself. And if you don't, you will suffer from it. Have you ever seen, I guess as a nurse practitioner, I understand this a little bit more. Have you ever seen run into somebody at the store that you went to school with and it's been 20 years and you haven't seen them and they've had different life choices than you, right? They've smoked for 20 years. They drink a lot. They have made choices in their life that have caused stress and that have caused them hardships. You, on the other hand, for the most part, I mean, everybody's human. You've made good choices. You don't smoke. You try to take care of yourself. Can you see a difference, that 20 years between you and the other person? Absolutely you can. As a clinician, I've seen patients that come in the office and you'll look at the age on the chart and you'll go, "Oh my gosh, like what? This person is 45, they look like 65." And it's all about choices, you guys. It's all about the daily choices that we make, okay? It's all about what you put in your body. It's all about your environment. It's all about the choices you make about your career. It's all about what you choose to do with your life, what the choices that you make. That's why I'm saying self care is so important. And so I'm trying really hard to make changes in my life that is going to set me up for success. I don't want to be 65 years old and hobbling around. I don't want, I want to be that vibrant 65-year-old grandmother who can play with her grandchildren, who can go on shopping trips with her daughter, her children, who can go on vacations and get out in the ocean and enjoy life. I want to enjoy my retirement. Now, there are circumstances that we cannot control. There are circumstances like if we were in an accident and it messed up our hip or our knee, or there are certain things you can't control. And I get that and I understand that. My life could change tomorrow, but I'm still saying I'm going to make good, healthy choices because I want a future that looks exciting and looks healthy. And I want one where I have mobility. And what I put in my body and how I move my body, and even mentally, what I do with my mind to stimulate it is going to get me to a point 20 years from now where I feel good about where I am. So, just something to think about. You know what? Next week, I want to talk about antidepressants and the Christian woman because there are so many opinions out there and we have to get rid of this stigma, you guys. We have to. I have so many strong opinions on this. So tune in next week as we talk about antidepressants and the Christian woman. All right. So thank you all so much for joining me today on this podcast, Real, the Unedited Life of a Christian Woman. I try my best to be real with you all. And if you are in the shopping mood this week, don't forget to check out Rakuten. There's another episode I have that is about Rakuten, the online site where you can shop and get money back. I'm not kidding. Every quarter, I get a check for a varying amount of money. You just get cash back based on your purchases. If you go through Rakuten, no catch, no fee, nothing. It's great. So check that out as well. And I look forward to talking to you all next week. If you need anything, please reach out. I'm happy to talk to you about that. I'm going to get my Facebook and my Instagram pages up this week so that we can go from there. You all have a great week.